Hi everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So I'm back with another best and worst rooms, and today we are talking about Disney's Port Orleans Riverside. So Disney's Port Orleans Riverside opened in February 2nd, 1992, and it's scheduled to reopen on October 14th, 2021. So if you're watching this after that date, it's already open, but very exciting. I know a lot of people are really huge fans of the Port Orleans resorts, and it's very exciting that they are going to be reopening. I have only stayed here once, and that was back in 2008, but it is a beautiful resort. There is a total of 2,048 rooms. The room size are 314 square feet, and there's basically two sections. So there's the Alligator Bayou section, and then there is the Magnolia Bend. So the Magnolia Bend area is the one that looks like the plantation. Really beautiful. We stayed here. That was where we stayed. It was kind of on the river. Very, very kind of romantic. Very nice. And then the Alligator Bayou, I'm not too familiar with because I didn't stay there. But now if you are looking for a room with a fifth sleeper, they do offer that here. The fifth sleeper being that kind of pull down Murphy twin bed underneath the TV. They do have those rooms here. However, they are only in the Alligator Bayou section. So if you're looking for a fifth sleeper, just know that you're going to be staying in the Alligator Bayou section. There's quite a bit of room categories. So let me go ahead and go through them all. So the first we have is the Standard View fifth sleeper, Woods View fifth sleeper, Pool View, Riverview, Preferred Room, King Bed, and then there's the Royal Guest Room, Standard View, Royal Guest Room, Woods View, Royal Guest Room, Riverview, and Royal Guest Room, Pool View. And then also the one thing as far as the King Bed is that the King Bed, it says it has one King Bed or one King Bed and a child size pull down bed. So they do have a King Bed with the fifth sleeper, but it would be the third sleeper, but there is no category for the King Bed with the pull down trundle. So you would have to request that room if you wanted it. So just kind of keep that in mind. Again, those would only be in the Alligator Bayou section, but we'll go over that in a little bit when we get to turning plans. So as you can see, there's a lot of categories. And as far as the Royal Guest Room, these are all in the Magnolia Bend section. So if you are looking for a Royal Guest Room with a fifth sleeper, there isn't one. So Royal Guest Rooms are in the Magnolia Bend section, and all fifth sleepers are in the Alligator Bayou section. So let's go to turningplans.com and take a look at the map and where the best and worst rooms at Disney's Port Orleans Riverside Resort. As always, we're going to start on touringplans.com's page dedicated to the resort, and this is Disney's Port Orleans Riverside. As you can see, it is scheduled to reopen on Thursday, October 14th, 2021. And here you can find all the great information regarding Disney's Port Orleans Riverside, as well as some pictures. So obviously this is pictures from the Magnolia Bend section. And here you have just information as far as what is in the room. Here are some pictures, and here is the layout. Again, the rooms here are 314 square feet, which is typical for a Disney moderate resort. And here, actually, this is one of the resorts that does have dog-friendly rooms. So there's some information here, all the different types of room classifications that we'll go over in a minute, the dining options, and just pretty much anything you need to know regarding Disney's Port Orleans Riverside. So now we're going to take a look at the official Disney's Port Orleans Resort map done by Disney. So this, as you can see, has Riverside as well as French Quarter, but we're going to take a look at the Riverside area right now. So as you come in, right here is the lobby and check-in, and you can see this is where you're going to see E is the boat rights dining hall. F is going to be the food court. G is the River Roost. And let's see, the H right here is going to be the pool bar. There's obviously the main pool right here. And as you can see, this P right here is the playground. So the Alligator Bayou is over on the left-hand side over here. And the Magnolia Bend, which is the plantation side, is on this side right here. So as I've mentioned earlier, all the fifth sleepers are going to be in the Alligator Bayou sections. And then all the royal guest rooms will be over in the Magnolia Bend area. So just keep that in mind if you're looking for a specific room that if you need a fifth sleeper, you will end up in the Alligator Bayou, or if you are looking at one of the royal guest rooms, you will be in the Magnolia Bend. So that just gives you a quick overview of the full resort. We are going to start with the standard view 2 queen beds. As I mentioned, there's a lot of categories to get through, so I'm going to get through these as fast as I possibly can. So if you see there's standard view 2 queen beds in both the Alligator Bayou and the Magnolia Bend. But I will say for this category, for just 2 queen beds, there's only a few in the Alligator Bayou section. So where I would recommend would probably be the 24 building, which is right here. It's going to be near a parking lot. As you can see here, it's going to be very, very close to the parking lot. So this would be a great location if you possibly have your car. And as you can see, this is floor 1. Floor 2 doesn't have any. So most of the ones in Alligator Bayou section do have the fifth sleeper. So of these, I would probably recommend 24 or 34, just because you'd be very close. So this is going to be the first. This is the West Depot, North Depot, East Depot, and South Depot. That's the order of the bus stops. West, North, East, and South. So the building 24 or even 16 and 17 will bring you really close to one of the other pools. So there's a couple pools. And then this would be really close to the first stop for when you're going to a park. And then so that you don't miss your bus stop. Or if you see that the bus is on the way, you can go to the South Depot and get there. So you have those 2 options as far as the bus, and you're pretty much equal distance, and you're pretty close to the lobby without being in a preferred building. So I like 24. I also like 16 and 17 in this category for the Alligator Bayou section. However, I think in the standard view category, you're most likely going to end up in Magnolia Bend. And where I would suggest is building 85. I think 85 in this category is the better building. You are close to, this is the 3rd stop, so this would be the East Depot. This would be the 3rd bus stop. You're close to a pool right here, and then you're close to the little bridge over to the main pool, as well as the boat to the Disney Springs. So everything's pretty close to there, and you would have just this little walkway rather than having to walk all the way around. So I think 85 is a great building. So let's take a look where this is. Now, most of the rooms in this category are going to be facing the parking lot, as you can see right here. So this is going to be facing the little lake. These are going to be the parking lot. So I think it just matters of whether or not you have your car, but I think it's just being in building 85 is going to be your best bet. So let's take a look at this one. This is going to be room up, not much of a view here. So this is just a roof, but again, views in the values and moderates aren't as big of a deal because they are exterior entryways. So let's just take a look here, and you'll see that these are all going to be parking lot view. Let's take a look right here and there. So if you have a car, this is obviously very, very convenient and just a very, very central location. So not much of a view, but you're not getting that with a standard view. So my recommendation would be over on this side right here, so that you would have just close proximity to everything, and then you would be close to that bus stop as well. Now we're looking at the standard view with the 5th sleeper, and as I mentioned, these are all in the Alligator Bayou section. So the same would apply as I just mentioned. I personally would request one of these buildings right here, 16, 17, or 24. And honestly, I would probably request building 16, building or 16 or 17, because it's going to be close proximity to the lobby, and then pretty much equal distance to both the first bus stop and the last bus stop. So basically going to the parks, we would probably take this one so we wouldn't have to go around the whole resort. And then coming back, we would get here and then walk back to the room. Same thing, we wouldn't have to go around through the whole resort. Now, the only risk as far as going through this bus stop here is that the bus would probably be full by the time we leave, but that's the risk you take for not having to wait. Let's take a look at building 16. And again, so this would be the pool right here. These are all going to be parking lot, view. But as you can see, if you do have your car, it's very, very convenient. A little bit more of a walking distance than the one we just looked at in the Magnolia Bend section. But as you can see, 16 and 17 are going to have equal distance. Now, these are also great. So these are going to have probably a closer proximity to these two 1 and 2 bus stops. So you have that. Also another pool here. And then these buildings, so I would say 35, they're probably not as close to the main pool. So I think the standard view in all the categories, with the exception of the Magnolia Bend right here, you just don't have great proximity to the main pool, but you do have great proximity to the bus stops. Next up is the Woods View 2 queen beds. Now you see there's both in Magnolia Bend and Alligator Bayou. If you want if you're in this category and you do want Alligator Bayou, I would not be specific about be picky about which building you want, because if you look, there's not that many in these. Most of these have fifth sleepers. There's one here on building 16. Building 17, there's one. I don't believe there's any on the second floor. Yes, there's none. And same with building 28, there's only 2. So again, there's not that many. So if you do want the Alligator Bayou and you did not book the 5th sleeper, then I would just say, and you want this, I would say 16, in order of preference, 16, 17, 28, and 26. That's your order. Would prefer to be an Alligator Bayou section. I wouldn't focus on the specific room. I would just let them know in the comments that you want Alligator Bayou. Now, again, most of the rooms in this category are in the Magnolia Bend section. So we have buildings 80 and 85. I don't think you can go wrong with either, but I would recommend building 85. You've got the pool right here. You're next to the 3rd bus stop, and then you're really close to this walkway right here to the main pool and the playground, which just gives you easy access to everything else. So let's take a look. And the room that I would recommend, now obviously I like being on the 1st floor, but this is the 2nd floor just to take a look. And here is the 3rd floor. So you have that. Now, personally, so here's the parking lot. I would say if you don't have a car, then I would say I would recommend this room right here. It's going to be close to the water. Really nice view. And then if you do have your car, I would probably recommend being on this side just because you'd have easier access to the parking lot. Beautiful view. There's the parking lot right there. Just very, very easy access. And that's if you have a car and you plan on driving it. If you plan on using Disney transportation, you can't go wrong with either. As well as, remember, this is the bus stop. So you have the parking lot and the bus stop is over here. So this is just going to give you easy access on that side to pretty much everything. So for Woods View, I recommend building 85. Okay, now we are at the Woods View 2 queens plus a 5th sleeper. And as you can see, they are all in the Alligator Bayou section. So really, this is where it depends on whether or not you have a car and whether or not you plan on using the main pool. So a couple things to see. This is the main pool. This is where the playground is. This is the lobby boat to Disney Springs. So proximity, obviously you can see where the parking lot. So a lot will depend on what your situation is. So as someone who normally drives to the, has our car and sometimes drives, I would probably request building 24 or 28 because they're very central. They're pretty central. They're close to the parking lot, but they're also equal distance to the 2 bus stops. Again, this is going to be the first bus stop. This is the last bus stop as the loop. So it just makes it very convenient to go. 16 and 17, I think, are still very convenient as well. And then you have, these buildings here. Now, if you're going to be using the pool, now we will use the pool maybe once or twice during a trip, unless it's a longer staycation. So I personally don't look for good proximity to the pool because we will only be walking there one, maybe two times, whereas we'll be walking to the bus stop a lot more. But if you are planning to use the pool, then I would recommend building 38. Building 38 is going to be very close to the second bus stop, and then pretty close proximity to the main pool. And then as a second, I would say building 37. But building 38 would be where I would recommend if you are planning to use the main pool quite a bit. Obviously, this is the area over here. Very, very pretty. And that's where I would recommend. So 38, 37, if you plan on using the pool quite a bit. And if you are planning on doing the parks, then I would recommend probably 28 or even 17 or 16. So with Pool View, Riverview, and Preferred View, there are no category for fifth sleeper. However, they do offer fifth sleepers in this category. So if you look here, you'll see there is Pool View, 2 queen beds and a pull down Murphy, Riverview, 2 queen beds and a pull down Murphy, as well as Preferred Room, 2 queen beds and a pull down Murphy. But just know that Pool View, Riverview, and Preferred View, they basically don't have a booking category for that fifth sleeper. So if you need the fifth sleeper, you need to request it in order to get it. And remember, fifth sleepers are going to be in the Alligator Bayou section. The next category we have is Pool View, 2 queen beds. And as you can see, there are 3 buildings. 2 of them are in Magnolia Bend and then 1 in Alligator Bayou. But I will tell you, in Alligator Bayou, there is only 1 on the first floor. And let's see, on the second floor, there are none. So essentially, there's only 1 of this category in Alligator Bayou, so you're going to most likely end up in Magnolia Bend. So here we have, again, buildings 80 and 85. And once again, I would recommend building 85 just because it's going to have that closer proximity to this walkway right here, pool, playground, and then the walkway to the lobby. You'll also have good proximity to the third bus stop. So let's just take a look at the building, and the Pool View are going to be on the side that I would recommend, which is closest to the walkway. There is that quiet pool right there. And let's take a look at floor 3 and see if we can see there, see if there's any views. Yeah, so there's a nice view right there as well. So that is room 8908. Again, if you want to be in the first floor like I do, any one of these would be great. And they'll have good access to the pool as well as that walkway. Our next category is Pool View, 2 queen beds with a pull down Murphy bed. And here we have, again, they're all in the Alligator Bayou section. And here, touring plans, if you see, they recommend building 25, 2533, 2534, 2539. So there's a couple reasons for that. It's obviously great distance to that pool. So we'll take a look right here. It's going to have great distance to the pool right there, as well as great distance to the parking lot, as well as the bus stop. Personally, I think I would request building 24 ahead of 25. So if you see here is going to be the Pool View, very, very nice access to the pool. And when you take a look at the building, you can see you would be right here, parking lot, obviously right here, and then you're right next to the walkway to the bus. Another option is if you wanted to be closer to the lobby, then I would suggest building 16. So there you have it. Right there is going to be closer to this pool over here, and then you would be closer to the main lobby as well as the last bus stop, and you'd probably have equal distance to the first bus stop, probably be a little bit further away, but then the last bus stop is, a little closer. So you pretty much have equal distance. So personally, even though Touring Plans recommends building 25, I think 16 and 17 are probably better options just because it gives you close proximity to two bus stations and then also close proximity to the main lobby. Then you have 35, 36, and 39. Also great options as well. You're going to have access to this pool close to the parking lot and in between bus stops 1 and 2. And actually these buildings, so let's say 39, would have closer proximity to the main pool. So if you have a child that loves the slides and wants to go to a pool with a slide, then you probably want to be in 39 because you'd have easier access to the main pool, also the playground. So just a couple different options, and it really just depends on what works for your family. Okay, so now we're going to look at the Riverview. We're only going to look at the Magnolia Bend because we'll talk about the fifth sleeper in a separate section. So again, it's going to go down to building 85, between 80 and 85. I'm going to prefer 85 because it's going to be closer just to everything. And if I had to choose, I would pick 85, 41 or 85, 42. Because it is going to, obviously, that is not a good view. That is really not a good picture. Let's see if this one's any better. 85, 42, there we go. So there's a great picture right here. And there is a note here. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but it says location is amazing, very close to pool and main building. Being a corner room, it has 2 windows, which makes the room feel bigger. I didn't give it 5 because even though the beds were comfortable, they were very squeaky. I mean, that's going to be at all the beds. So, which I thought was weird and a bit annoying, but almost perfect. So this person really liked this location. Again, so this is going to be 85, 41, very, very good location to, here is that quiet pool. And then here is the walkway to the main pool. So that's where I would suggest. And in the notes, if you were to pick that room, I would just say you want to be in building 85. Okay, so here is the Riverview, 2 queen beds and a pull-down Murphy bed, so a fifth sleeper. Again, this is not a bookable category, but this is how you're going to end up with a fifth sleeper, is to be in the Alligator Bayou section. So if you book Riverview, you can request one of these rooms. So honestly, all 3 are great locations. It really just depends on what you need. If you don't think you're going to be near the lobby, then I would go for building 38. Personally, I would probably go for building 27 because it's going to have pretty good access to the main pool right here, as well as there you have the walkway to the lobby. So 14 is a little closer to the lobby, but 27 is going to be closer to the main pool playground and then equal distance to the very first bus stop and the last bus stop. So I think 27 is probably the best bet for this category. So we'll take a look here and there. So it's got a nice view of the river. So in my opinion, building 27 is the best bet for the Riverview fifth sleeper category. So now let's take a look at the preferred room that has 2 queen beds only. And if you see, they are in buildings 15, 18, and 27. Personally, I think 18 is going to be the best bet unless you have a car. And if you have a car, then maybe 15 would be a better bet. 15 is going to be closer to the parking lot. Doesn't seem like there's that many options, but there's that one right there. So 15 would be closer to the parking lot. 18 I just think is very central. So 18 is going to pretty much equal distance to everything. So I think it's kind of just a very central location. There is some options on the building. So let's take a look at preferred with fifth sleeper, and all the preferred buildings are in the Alligator Bayou section. So keep that in mind as well. All the preferred category are in these four buildings right now, 14, 15, 18, and 27. So again, these are the 4 buildings. I don't think you can go wrong with any one of these. Of these 3 though, I think 18 is probably the most central to everything. You're going to have equal distance. Obviously, there's a lot of rooms to choose from. If you wanted to be maybe, let's see, here, right near the pool. Somebody put, although pool is right outside door, noise was never an issue. Also close to food court and bus station, very cozy. So that was the notes for this room right here. And this is 1826. So of these 4 buildings, I don't think you can go wrong with any of them, but I think 18 is going to be the most central. 14 is obviously going to be the closest to the lobby and food court. 15 is going to be the closest to the parking lot, and then 27 will be closest to the main pool as well as the first bus stop. So really just works, whatever works for your family. Okay, once again, the king bed category has 2 choices. It's going to have the king bed or king bed with what is called the 5th sleeper, the pull down Murphy bed. However, there is no category for booking one of those. So it's just king bed and you get either or. So know that if you are booking, if you want just the king bed and you don't need the pull down sofa, maybe you're just a couple, then you would want to request to be in Magnolia Bend. If you need that pull down Murphy bed, let's say like my family where we have 1 child, we would need that pull down Murphy bed. We would request to be in Alligator Bayou. So let's go ahead and look at the king bed and where they are. And again, they're in buildings 80 and 85. Once again, my suggestion is to request building 85. The room that I personally would request would be 8539. Not much of a view right here. But again, it is a corner room. Here is the quiet pool. Here is the walkway to the main pool as well as the playground. And let's see, you would have the parking lot right here. So just a really central location. And then I would request that room and I would just say king bedroom in building 85 preferable. Now, if we were staying with our son, we would need the pull down Murphy bed. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. And those are going to be pretty much in any building in Alligator Bayou. So this is where there's only probably going to be a few in each category, in each building. So here's where you have to kind of decide, where do you want to be? What do you need to be close to? Do you need to be close to a parking lot? Do you need to be close to the main pool? So you would want to maybe be 38 or 27. If you need to be put close to the parking lot, 15, 16, 24, 35, 36, 37, those are all good choices. Do you want to be close to, let's say, the main pool would be 27 or 38. I think I mentioned that. If you want to be close to the lobby, 14. So personally, if I were in this category, I would probably request building 14 and then 15. And what I would do is I would mark in the category, want to be close to the lobby, because that is probably what we'd want to be close to the most. We want to be close to the food court, want to be close to the last bus station, because that would probably be where we would go to the park. And then obviously would love to be close to the parking lot. So we would probably request 14, then 15, and then kind of list our order of preference in the notes. But again, so you pretty much have your pick of where you want to request, but keep in mind, there's only a few of these king bedrooms in each building. So you should list which buildings are your preference so that the room assigner knows that if there isn't a king bed, let's say I request building 14, and let's say, okay, I request room 1432, but then there's no king bedroom in building 14 at all. They know to put me in building 15 if there's a room available. And that way they know that my order of preference. So that's my suggestion. Really, you kind of just have, I would review back on the other ones that I kind of give some pointers to, but really it just depends on where do you want to be close to most. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the royal guest rooms. So the royal guest rooms are essentially the preferred rooms in the Magnolia Bend section. So all the royal guest rooms, whether they're standard view, woods view, Riverview,
or pool view, they are all going to be in buildings 90 and 95. So they're essentially the preferred view in this category. So I'm going to run through them really quick. So standard view first, you have, again, buildings 90 and 95. Of these two, you want to be, I personally would want to be in building 90 because you're going to be close to the third bus stop and you're not a bad walk to the main lobby or this bus stop right here. You're also close to the pool. So building 90. So let's take a look here. Now here is the parking lot. And then here is, so you can see all the standard view. So where I would request would be over here because here is the walkway to the main lobby. So I would request to be on this side right here. So this is 90,088. And let's see, you're going to be able to see the other building. So you can see building, I believe, 95 over there. So this is 9008. And then if you wanted to be closer to the parking lot, you could see there. Obviously, it's a great proximity to the parking lot, but I would personally request there. Now, the other option is if you were in building 95, you could request this row right here as well. So let's see. Actually, there is no standard. So there you go. These are the ones that are going to give you the standard over here, and they're going to be closer to the parking lot. So for the standard view royal guest room, I would request building 90 and those rooms that are right here. So now we're looking at the royal guest room woods view. And again, so here is building 90. So let's take a look at building 90. Again, these rooms right here would be great. So I think this is a very central location. Somebody wrote here, great location and quiet room, nice views, would request this location again. So beautiful views. I love the Magnolia Bend area. It's just really, really beautiful. The landscaping is absolutely stunning. However, in this category, I would actually request right here. So we're going to look at building 95. Where I would request is this strip of rooms right here. So let's take a look. We're going to look at 9527. Now the view's not great, but you're going to have great proximity to, and let's see if this one's even a little better. Yeah, this one's a little better. So obviously you have a good proximity to the parking lot right there. And let's take a look at the resort map. And here you have it. So you have close proximity to the quiet pool here. You have close proximity to the walkway to the main lobby, to the ferry, to Disney Springs, to the last bus stop, and then pretty decent walking distance to the third bus stop. Actually, the last bus stop would probably be closer, but you have choices between the two. Same thing with 90. So I think in those two areas, you would just have to see which works better for your family. But for us, I think we would probably request building 95, but in this strip right here. Okay, and the same goes for Riverview Royal Guest Room. So again, let's take a look at building 90. And here they are. Obviously, it's going to be these rooms right here. So of these, my favorite would be absolutely 9074. Beautiful view of the river and very, very close proximity to the walkway as well. So there's the pool right here, the walkway to the main lobby. However, I would probably request 95 over here. And again, I would probably request this room right here, which would be 9529. There you can see the bridge right there. So very close proximity. No notes on this, but 9529. So again, the whole thing I would say is to be close to this little walkway right here. It's going to give you great access to this bus stop right here. You have a nice size walk, but then it's also close to, quiet pool. So kind of just staying in this area over here. Now, the last category we're going to discuss is the Pool View Royal Guest Room. And if you want to stay in this area that I was saying, kind of close to this walkway, then you want to book the Royal Guest Room Pool View because these are the rooms that have a review of the pool. So I would probably, personally, I don't really care for the room with a view of the pool. It'd be more about having proximity to this walkway. So I would probably request building a room 9075 personally. Obviously, if you wanted to have a pool view, you could go a little further, and then obviously you could go a little higher. But again, these are exterior entryway rooms, so the view really isn't such of a importance. Now, if you look at building 95, it's going to be, actually, it's just this one room right here. So, but I think the safest bet as far as location wise would be Royal Guest Room Pool View, because you know you're going to be in this vicinity here, which is going to give you, close to this walkway right here. So that is probably the safest room category in this, in the Royal Guest Room category to keep you in that location. We are back at my dashboard, and I have plugged in a sample trip of Disney's Port Orleans Resort Riverside. So we are going to click request room. So this is how you're actually going to request your room. So I'm going to say we have booked a king bed room, but I need a king bed room with a pull down Murphy. Remember, this is not a book category. You can only book king bed, but some have it's either or. So let's say mentioned I wanted to be on building 14 was my preference. And I'm going to say, we want this corner room right here. So we want this corner room, which is 1401. Not the best view, but again, I am choosing this for location. So at the top, you'll see click here to make room request. So I'm going to click here, and let's see, it's going to come up. Of course, it's taken its sweet time. There we go. So now it has plugged in requesting room 1401. Remember, you are not done yet. This does not request your room. You actually need to configure your room request. So you're going to click that. There, it's going to plug in. You need to put your name, the name that's on the reservation, your reservation number. Everything else will plug in. Do not touch that. Leave that there. That is there for a reason. So now I'm going to put in my preferences. So I'm going to put preferences so that the room assigner knows what I'm looking for. So as always, I want a first floor, floor room. Now, again, we prefer first floor rooms. If you do not want a first floor room, then put, no ground floor room or something to that effect, so they know you don't want to be on the first floor. And then 2, I'm going to put buildings 14, 15, 18, 16, and 17. And I'll just put order of preference. So that way they know that these are my 5 top choices for buildings. I want a first floor room is my first priority. And then I want to be in either 14, 15, 18, 16, or 17. And that's my order of preference. I'm going to save that. And you can pretty much put anything there. I like bullet points, and that seems to have worked well. I think it just makes it easier for the room assigner so that they know what is most important for you. And for us, the most important thing is to have a first floor room. So now it says we will attempt to send this room request starting 30 days prior to your check-in. And that's it. That's how you request your room through touringplans.com. And those are some of my recommendations for best and worst rooms at Disney's Port Orleans Resort, Riverside.
So there you have it. Those are my best and worst rooms at Disney's Port Orleans Resort, Riverside. As you can see, it is a very large resort with a lot of different options, but I do love that it's a resort that has that 5th sleeper option, as well as a resort that has the king bed with that trundle bed as well. Very few resorts have that. So if we were ever to book at this resort, if we were paying cash, then I would try and get that king bed category with that pull down trundle bed or Murphy bed for our son, because that would be just give us a little bit more space in the room, and then he would have his own dedicated bed. But then you also take a risk of not getting the pull down bed. So it's kind of, you run that risk. But those are my best and worst rooms at Disney's Port Orleans Riverside. With that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.